So welcome again. Let's just talk about the first some few ground rules. Please keep our audio off. It would be nice to see everybody. So if the video is kept on, if the surroundings and all this helps you, please keep your video on. Otherwise, it's okay. You can keep it shut. But we would like to take. It would be good to see everybody by face. This is the whole idea behind this BYS Connect. Is we are all missing seeing each other physically, but at least we get to see virtually. So that's a good thing to see. It would be good to see everybody with the video. Session will continue for about 40 minutes, and thereafter we will have some Q&A session. Who has any clarifications, we can take up those topics. To today's session, before getting into today's session, we would like to say about a very sad news. Most of you may be aware, some of you may not be aware. One of our close colleague who has been our associate for almost last 3 years, he has been associate with BYS. He's been attending regular session in BYS Street 4. Prashant, very amiable person, very friendly, very nice to be with. He passed away in Delhi a few days ago. So it's a big loss for BYS and also for his family. So let's put in about 1 minute of silence in his memory, so that the God gives the entire family the strength to bear this unbearable loss. Let's remain silent and for a minute. Thank you. So now let's get on to our main session for the day. We all do yoga. We all do yoga to keep ourselves healthy, to understand us, to know us well. We all do it. But how well do we know ourselves? How well do we know our body? That's the key. So today we have with us one of our strongest, you can say, strong pillar of our BYS discovery, the person who really is the key pillar behind this BYS Connect. Sushil, he will be conducting a session, understanding human anatomy and his connection with the yogic practice. So let's listen to him. Let's welcome Sushil.
Thank you so much, Sudhirji. So first of all, indeed, it is a huge loss by Prashant's demise, and all of us still last couple of days are still struggling to digest that particular news. So definitely our condolences to the families, and we hope they get a strength to bear this loss. Before we start this session, as Sudhirji rightly mentioned, this is all about the human anatomy, better understanding of how our body structure is, and then most importantly, what kind of yogic practices that we can adopt to keep those particular body parts, body structure healthy. If I just take a step back, 2 weeks ago, we had a very good session from Sudhirji himself, wherein we spoke about the different human body parts, right? The way the human bodies are there. The first one is the Sthul Sharir, which is the physical body, the body that you see with all organs, that is ourself. The second one is the subtle body, which is the Sukshma Sharir, which is basically the mind, how your conscience, the emotions, and so on. And then we have the last one, which is a Karan Sharir, which is about the causal body, right? We also had a very good points which was mentioned by Sudhirji is the Sthula Sharir, which is the physical body that we have. That's the platform for the subsequent bodies that we have. Because the second body takes care of the mind, emotions, and psychological aspect. And the causal is more about the blissfulness. Now, if I don't have a right physical body, which is a healthy enough, the existence of the other subsequent bodies becomes nullified. Or let me put it other way, if my stool body goes away, which is a physical body existence, ultimately the subtle body and the causal body, that doesn't come into the existence itself. And that's where it becomes really important for us to really understand what our body is all about, really gain more insight about that and see what we can follow. Before we begin, again, just want to admit I'm not a medical practitioner. And in fact, neither I had biology in any of the academias since secondary school, I would say. But what I have done, taking the pillars, what Mr. Sudhir just said, is really did myself some kind of a reading to understand those various body systems, because I personally felt that that is something really important for us to understand. And that's how I have tried to put forward these particular presentations in a simple way. Given that I said I'm not from a medical background, be assured I will not have those complex medical jargons which I can speak about. That was one of the reasons I didn't go for medical field. So I would try to keep it in a simple word. You might see certain medical terms here and there, but let's not worry about that one. We are not trying to become a medical practitioner here, but really trying to understand at a very, very basic level. So before we begin, just few things. I thought, let me just kind of revive our own, if somebody is coming from medical background, or for some sadhaks who is not aware of, at least get aware of what our human body is capable of. It contains close to 30 trillion cells. That's the magnitude of the number of cells that we have in a body. Brain itself contains close to 100 billion nerve cells. If you look at the bacteria within the body, they are 10 times more than the cells which we have. If you look at the body weight, it ranges from 45, 50 to 60, 70% of a human body that's comprised of water. Water plays a very, very important role. This is another interesting, I don't know how many, at least I was surprised when I was reading this. The skin contributes to 16% of the total body weight. And if you look at the surface area of the skin, it's close to 22 square feet. It's that kind of the whole surface area about the skin. At any point of time, our body has close to 5 to 6 liters of blood. If you look at the kidneys, which keeps on processing the blood throughout the day, through every moment, it contains it throughout the day. It processes around 200 liters of blood. And after the processing, the function which kidney has, which we'll talk about, to extract the waste and so on, almost 2 liters come out of such kind of processing throughout the day. If you look at the human body, average number of times we breathe, close to 20,000 times. If you look at the heart pump, pulling out the blood from all the muscles, all the blood cells, it's close to 100,000 times it does pumping, extract close to 8,000 liters of blood, keeps playing with that. And the circulation that happens throughout the body, we cover almost close to 100,000 kilometers of blood vessels. If you look at how beautiful in terms of the entire, given we spoke about the blood vessels, the 100,000 kilometer throughout the day, but the complex nature of blood vessel itself, you can imagine to flow the blood within the entire body, it takes just around 20 seconds. The reason I wanted to put these particular points here is really to make a point that we are fortunate to have this human body, a gift from the God, which is absolutely a powerful and very, very flawless system, which works so magnificently. I think the important is how do I leverage this particular system and make use of it for the betterment or do something which is much more powerful, which we as a human are capable of. What I mean is understanding the entire system so that I take care of it, I take care of the entire system and continue to make it healthier and healthier so that my mind, a lot of things that I can do. Now one can argue, why do I really need to do that? What happens? Because I might claim that yes, I probably are 30, 35, 40, 45 years old. I mean, in this particular group. And I have been living well, things are going well, and it's all right. I mean, I know at a basic level on I have a heart, I have a kidney, I have a stomach, this is what I do, and so on. And what else I need to know? I mean, is there any need? I have lived almost for 35, 40 years so far, and I don't find any need. I thought, let me explain, because I think this is a very important question for us to first get convinced on the need of understanding our human anatomy, our body structure. I just wanted to take an example of car. If you look at this particular car, the car is always, car made up of, it's a very, very similar to, you can say, the body. It's made up of various systems. You have the engine, you have the fuel system, which takes care of giving the fuel to the entire stuff. You have the exhaust mechanism in place. You have the cooling mechanism. There is an electronic control. There is a radiator that happens. There is a chassis and the transmission systems and so on. Now, if you look at these particular systems that you see within the car, and assume that you don't know about how this functions. Again, when I say you don't know, I'm really not trying to get into the details. I'm not trying that myself to be the mechanic who understands and can repair everything. But do I know the basic things within the car so that I'm able to do the necessary maintenance of the car? For example, if you talk about the lubricating system within the car, it has a very important role. The oil, I know as a driver or as an owner, probably I might know that yes, oil is required, some oiling has to be done within the car, but where do I use it? Is it an important part of the lubricant system? Now, if I look at the lubricant system, there is an oil filter. What is the use of this oil filter? How it is helping to not have the contaminated part going into the various parts of the car? Then if I understand what is the purpose of that oil filter, then at least I can take the precaution of cleaning that on a regular basis or replacing it. Or if I take the case of transmission systems, now having understood that how the cars works, the different four wheels, how it goes and so on, whether I need to do the balancing, wheel balancing, if yes, how frequently I need to do it and so on, right? What happens if I am not aware of those at a very high level on how that system works? I start driving the car, I don't do any maintenance. The fact that I don't know about that system, the fact that I don't know about the oil filter, I'm not going to do any maintenance of that. So be assured on that. So I'm driving the car, suddenly car kind of breaks down, or I get a lot of jerks because I have not done the wheel balancing and so on. Ultimately, every time you drive, new problems keeps coming. When you expect this car to give you a luxurious ride, it expects you to give a peace of mind while driving that my ride is going to be smooth. Instead, every time there is a mind that is it going to be safe? Is there going to be a problem? Because I don't know whether the system in the back is functioning properly or not. Similarly, if you take the case of the human body, if you just try to correlate, it's exactly made a similar kind of stuff. I have the body, I have the internal lot of systems, which has a specific role to play. I know there is a lever that it does something, or I know if I eat a food, it goes, finally it gets digested, whatever the waste food, we pass through, and so on. We really know it at a particular level. The question is, do we really understand further details? Like we heard a lot of times about the tonsils. Now, what really tonsils plays the role? Or we talk about the liver, we talk about the intestine, and so on. It is just understanding those basic details, not to the great level, is really what we are looking at. The moment we understand, we can relate it to the various things. Once I know tonsil does these particular things, and I know these are the things which I can do to keep my tonsils healthy, to keep my tonsils active. This is what my respiratory system does. This is what my heart requires. If I do this, it really keeps it healthy and fine. I won't have those issues, be it the heart blockage, the heart attack, the valve getting blocked, and so on. So that's where it becomes really important and indeed critical for us to understand the human anatomy to a level which is not into the medical practitioner. We are not trying to be medical practitioner, but as a layman to a sufficient details. And that's what really we intend to do as part of this particular session. If you look at the human body, again, as I said, it's comprised of multiple systems. If you categorize them, there are total 12 systems which has a specific role to play within the body. Now, out of these 12 systems, there are two systems that you see, which is an immune and lymphatic. They are pretty much similar. The whole objective of that system is to fight out the infections, the bacteria that comes in, and so on. So for all practical purpose, for our understanding purpose, consider this human body made of 11 players, a cricket team, which really works, play the match for human body to win every day. All these 11 players has to work very cohesively. They work together to meet the individual functions of each of these particular systems. Of course, this particular system is led by heart, which is a cardiovascular system, because the entire blood gets passed on. Absolutely, this plays the critical role. But beside heart, there are other 4 organs as well, which are really, really important from a vitality point of view for an individual. We have a brain, which is part of nervous system. We have a lungs, we have a liver here, and we have a kidney. All of them play a very important role. What it does and so on, we are going to cover it. But in principle, at a high level, just understand that various 11 systems, 5 are kind of a super players, which plays a very critical role. And then each particular system, they work along with the other one with a common objective to keep our body healthy and keep functioning. Now, what we are going to do in the next subsequent slides is going to touch base on each of these systems. Just for ease of understanding what we are going to do for each of these systems, I made it very, very simple. As I said, I promise I don't have many medical jargons. We have just introductory slide to understand what that system does in a layman's language. We will do a further deep dive just to how that system functions. And then we focus on what all yogic practices can be adopted for the upliftment, for the betterment of that particular system. So kept it very, very short. I know the time which we are going to have to cover this is not going to be enough in this 30-40 minutes. But I don't want to rush up just to cover all these things. So what we'll do is we'll go with the pace which is comfortable for easy to digest. Wherever we stop, we'll finish at the end of 80 in another 20-25 minutes. And thereafter, we'll begin the subsequent one. What I would also request everyone participant, there are a lot of senior teachers out there. There might be somebody good at biology as well, anatomy aspects. If you want to add on certain things over and above what I said, please feel free to add on. I would like to keep this as interactive, right? With this, let me begin with the first systems, which is related to the skin. If you look at the skin, primarily it consists of the skin. Then I have the hairs on the entire skins, the nails, and then there are glands as well, which helps in secreting the sweat and the mucus and so on. Now, the primary purpose of the skin, it stands as the protective barrier between the outside the world and the whole body. So that's a protective thing. From a human body point of view, this is one of the largest organ that we have in a human body, and we'll touch base on why it consumes 16% of total body weight. If you look at the way structure of the skin, again, which is everyone knows, but just from a coverage point of view, there are certain parts of the skin, such as your eyes, those are very, very thin. While if you look at your palms of your feet, as well as the skin on your palm, they are reasonably thick, right? That's how you see a different shades of skins. If you look at the skin, again, ignore these medical terms, but for me as a layman, understand that it is a 3-layered kind of organ. The first top part, which is the skin, what we see. The color of an individual is what we see here on this particular, the outer part, which we have on our body. This is the first layer of defense, what we have as naturally, because that is what is directly exposed to the environment. Now, it's important to understand this particular skin every 1 month. So this skin again becomes a dead. I mean, these are at the end, these are the cells. So what happens? At the bottom of this particular skin, this first layer, new cells start building up. Gradually, it starts climbing up. It takes almost a month for them to come up on top of the layer, and then the dead skin goes away, the new skin comes up. Now let's look at the middle portion of the skin, which is the thickest one. Now this particular one, this is the skin part which contains the nerves, the blood vessels, and so on. So while you go for injection, and when some certain nerves injection happens, ultimately you are getting into the part of the skin itself. Within that, as I said, it has a nerves as well. And that's where it has those sensory kind of touch, like whatever I touch, whatever pressure I get, or itchiness and so on, everything is driven from this particular part. Even the hairs, which you see on the top, ultimately the growing of that hairs is happening. This part is playing a very, very key role. And this also is an important from fighting the infection. Again, once something goes down, it has the ability to fight out those particular infections, the pathogens, or some outer part which might slip in. The deepest part is the layer which is basically the one which protects us from the extreme heat or extreme cold. Ultimately, what it is doing, it is helping us to protect my internal organs, because skin is the outer layer, as I said. The moment this is kind of acting as a cushion for me to sustain that temperature, be it the hot and the cold, my organs internally, which are very kind of delicate, these are getting protected. That's pretty much at a high level what really skin is all about. If you look at what can I do to improve my skin or take care of my skin, I'm just talking about the basic things. And by the way, whatever we are going to talk about, these yogic practices and so on, these are just kind of a sample one. These are not the exhaustive list, but at least to give an idea on what kind of things can be performed which would help my skin, keeping skin proper. First of all, you can adopt a very, very normal things as well. Just keep smiling, giving a kind of stretches to our skin. Just puffing your cheeks, just blow it up. Even lifting the eyebrow, the small things which typically we don't do, just you can keep doing that one. That keeps on giving a good stretch. Ultimately, it would help in avoiding the wrinkles at a very early age. I mean, you can just continue to have your skin healthy. And then there are various asanas that we can do, which gives a good stretch to our skins at a various parts, right? So that's pretty much in terms of understanding the skins. There are multiple pranayams. I mean, we had a very good session earlier that was taken by Binduji and Kumkumji, which spoke about the benefit of Shitali pranayam, how it helps in glowing your skin. There are Kapalbhati pranayam, the normal Anulom Vilom pranayam also you do. It helps in ensuring that your skin is completely happy, they are completely fine, and so on. Let's move on to the next particular system, which is skeletal. Now, as you see, the skeletal system, it is a central system. It's a framework. So underneath the skin, I have the skeleton. What it does, it is giving me the complete structural support. It's also helping me to protect my organs, because my all organs are inside these particular ribs, inside the skulls, and so on. So this is really playing an important role, setting up the tone for my entire skeletal system. Now, usually what happens? If you look at the newborn, they born with almost 300 separate bones, but gradually number of bones, they get kind of fused. And as you get into the adulthood, the number of bones comes to around 206. Now, if you look at the bone, they are structured on the right side. These two bones are joined by something called ligament. You might hear the ligament tear and so on. What it is basically the toughest, the fibrous kind of tissues. At the end, these are tissues, but these are the toughest, which kind of sustains the pressure between the two bones. Assume that you jump. Ultimately, the ligament is the one which is protecting both the bones having the harsh crash. Then you have a tendon. So on top of this particular bones, whatever muscles are there, tendons is the one which kind of glues these muscles with the bone system. Now, if you look at these bones, they play a very, very important role. They are the one which kind of helps us producing the blood cells. They also helps in terms of storing and releasing the fats and the minerals to the entire body. Now, if you go in terms of how this particular skeleton system is there, the first part is the teeth, which is part of the skeleton. Now, this is not counted within the 206 bones, which I spoke about. But if you look at the rest of the systems, high level, you can categorize them into two different types. The one which takes care of your brain, which is a skull. Then the other one which takes care of your spinal cord, which is a spine. The third one is which takes care of your the heart, lungs, all these internal organs. This particular system, this is called the axial skeleton. Don't worry on the names. Just remember the idea that yes, I have one system which is really focusing on the top and the important part. Then I have the peripheral system, the rest of the bones, which scatters across hands, the legs, the abdomen, urinary, reproductive, this particular region. Now, within this particular peripheral region, if you see, there are a lot of bones that you see on this particular, the hands. There are almost 27 bones on the hands itself, close to 26 bones on your feet. So if you just count the total number of organs on your skeletal system itself, the bones, hands and feet itself are constituting to almost 50% of the total bones in the body. Now, this is particularly all this entire system, they are setting up the stone. This is a framework, all muscles gets built on top of it. And at the end, that is what really building my structure, my posture of how my body behaves. If you look at this particular bones also, I mean, just if you look at few other things as well. By the way, this particular bone, what you see, which is on the thighs, this is one of the strongest, heaviest bone that you have in the body. And what you have in the ear is the softest and kind of the lightest kind of the bone. Another important aspect or the thing is, if you look at the whole bone structure, I mean, the different types, there are a few bones which are kind of long. If you look at the bones on your hands, they're pretty short. If you look at your face, I mean, everyone has a different face. So these are kind of an irregular kind of shape that you see here. There are certain bones, like on the shoulder blades or something on the ribs here. They are of the flat nature, unlike what you see on your hands and so on. And most importantly, there are certain bones which are especially on the wrist and on the feet, which has an ability to sustain the pressure. And that's the reason when I push something, the heavier one, still my bones are intact, because I have a specific bone, which is called sesamoid bones, which has the ability to sustain the pressure to the greatest ability, right? So that's how essentially this entire skeletal system is made of. How do I make this particular skeletal system well? First of all, eat a lot of vegetables. I mean, vegetables have a lot of vitamin C. If you continue to eat that, your all skeletal systems, your bones gets healthier. Again, I don't believe anybody in this particular stuff, but ultimately the smoking, drinking, and so on, these are definitely the harmful, not only for this, but a lot of things that which we are going to cover. Taking a lot of calcium intakes, the vitamin D, that definitely helps in maintaining the bone strength. And another important thing is walking is really, really helpful also for your bones, for your complete skeletal systems. Now, these are a few of the exercises, just again, an illustrative purpose, which really helps me in terms of keeping my skeletal system intact, keeping that posture and maintaining the strength for those skeletal parts. Let's move on to the next. So we covered skin, we have gone to the skeletal part. Let's get down to one level down, which is primarily the muscles. If you look at human body, close to around 650 different muscles. Usually there is a conception that muscle is all about the bodies and how fat and so on, right? It's about strength, but it's much more beyond that, because all these muscles are throughout the body, on top of your bones. They are helping you for walking, talking, all these activities. They are helping you for maintaining the posture. And most importantly, they are also helping me in circulating the blood and the other substance throughout the body. While we cover the subsequent part, when you talk about the other systems as well, the nervous and so on. I'll just mute. Yeah. If you look at while we study the other nervous system and the respiratory and so on, you would see that the muscles are the one which are there throughout the blood vessels, throughout the nerves as well. So ultimately, they are helping me in terms of circulating the blood and all the substances such as nutrients, proteins, and so on throughout the body. We will learn more about that one. They're also playing a part whenever I do the facial expression, eye movements, even the respirations and how it is helpful in respirations. We'll just touch base on that. Now, this is just to give a quick view on how our muscle systems are. Now, again, if you look at how muscle systems is there within the body, you can categorize them into three different types. One is the skeletal muscle, which basically every time you do exercise, you lift something, you move, you turn, whatever the muscles are getting activated or these particular joints, whenever you bend, the muscles which are voluntary, which are done by your conscious mind from yourself, are really the one which are the skeletal muscle. The rest two types, which we'll talk about, they are something which is within your body that you don't control. The entire body system, the brain, the nervous systems and so on, they themselves take care of executing, activating those muscles and keep functioning them. Now, as I said, the skeletal is the one which is helping for the actions which I as an individual perform. Now, what's happening? In terms of this particular skeletal muscle, there are two kinds of activities. I mean, especially if you look at subsequent further deep dive into that, there is something called as some muscles which are called slow twitch, the other one fast twitch. Forget about the words, but what essentially it means, there are certain muscles I have which has the ability to sustain, keep the energy up for the longer duration of time, which are really kind of a slow. There are a few muscles which gives me kind of a high momentum, kickstart, and which acts very fast, but at the same time, it has a reduced duration to keep up that particular energy. Just an example, if imagine the difference between running the marathon and running the sprint. If I have to run for 21 kilometers or 42 kilometers for a marathon, the slow twitch, the muscles which are a slow twitch kind of muscles are getting activated, wherein which goes for a longer duration. Wherein if you look at this sprint, 100-meter sprint, 200-meter sprints, and so on. That's where this muscle part, which are kind of very active, those are the one are getting activated. Now, if you look at the other types of muscles, there are certain muscles which are found inside the organs, and they actually helps in functioning of that. I mean, there are few muscles within stomach, there are few within intestine, there are muscles within blood vessels as well. Inside the blood vessels, there are muscles that comes in. All the circulation that happens through the vessels, ultimately muscle plays a very good part. The moment a lot of blood flow is required, it gets contracted, or rest it can control that particular flow. This again, it doesn't require my mind to tell that yes, I need to activate this kind of muscles within stomach, intestine. It happens automatically by the system itself. The last, which is a very important one, is the cardiac muscle. This is what is within your heart, is heart made of. This again, as you know, heart runs on itself. My brain doesn't need to tell it. The entire pumping of the blood from the body is being done by these particular types of muscles. These are the same muscles which I spoke about, which has the ability to pump almost that 7,500, 8,000 numbers which I spoke about. These are such a powerful muscles which are playing a key role from my functioning of heart as well, right? So if you look at muscles, just to summarize, two types of muscles we spoke about. One, the important part, that was the skeletal one. Here, three types of muscles, which one focusing on the active part, which is skeletal. The other one are something unconscious. You don't need to take any effort. They are taking care of your body organs like stomach, intestine, blood, and the heart, and so on. What do I need to do to improve my muscles? I do a lot of power yoga that we do. It really helps in terms of activating your muscles. Now, if usually you go to the gym, and that's the difference between the gym and the yoga here. In gym, you might get certain more muscular stuff. At the same time, remember that the stretch that you have, the stress, the pressure that you have on your body system is too hard compared to yoga. In yoga, it is without that particular pressure that I need to sustain. Still, by doing these particular asanas, I'm able to still manage and help my muscular system. Again, doing the regular exercise, the walking, the brisk walking, and so on, that again is an important one. Sudhirji, shall I just cover nervous, if that's okay?
Yes, let's do nervous also, no?
Yeah, fine. Just let me know whenever you want me to take a pause.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just conscious of the time as well. These are again another few different the exercises which can really help from your muscular system, strengthening your all muscles doing these particular exercises, right? Now, let's understand about nervous system. This is again absolutely a very, very critical system that we have within the body. If you look at this, again, it's a very, very complex, though extremely critical system within the entire body. Just imagine this as like the electric wiring going across all your hands, your legs, each and every part of your body connecting to the brain. Now, what happens? Basically, when I say they are connecting to the particular atoms, there is something called neurons. Again, these are kind of cells in a simple word. They are kind of the mechanism for me to transfer certain information from sensing, from touching, from any kind of activities, take it to the brain, again, take back the signal from brain to those particular parts, whatever it requires. So from this particular system point of view, if you look at from structural point of view, we have not gone into the functional yet. If you look at structural point of view, I have one central nervous system, which is the extreme critical because I have my heart, I have my spinal cord, and then all these peripheral nerves are connected to the spinal cord. I have a peripheral nervous system. So entire things, what you see on the side, ultimately it is connected to the central nervous system. It is connected to the spinal cord. So it comes here, gives certain message here, this helps to take it to the brain, again process it back, and so on. That's how the entire structure of the nervous system is. If you look at from functional point of view, while it might sound too much information, just look at it in a very simpler way. The nervous system is getting activated in two different ways. One, which based on my actions, which is nothing but a voluntary. The second one is the nervous system, which is getting worked within the body itself. I don't need to control it. Let's make it simple from what do I do from a voluntary point of view. So we have a sensory receptors on every, we spoke about in the skin. There are senses, the nerves go through that second layer of the skin. Then it has a sensors wherein it has the ability to sense the touch and so on. Ultimately, whenever such kind of touch is happening, those sensory kind of receptors, ultimately through these nervous systems, it goes to the brain. Brain knows what to act, gives back the signal again to those particular body part. So that's primarily this particular stuff. Whenever I'm doing exercise, whenever I'm doing walking, whenever I'm hearing something, touching something, seeing something, those particular information is the one which is what getting processed from this. Now what happens? Whatever the information comes from body to the brain, we call it afferent. Don't worry on these again terms, but point is, and whatever comes from brain signals, that again goes back to that particular activity. This is more about the active part that we play. Let's understand about the involuntary, wherein I don't need to take care of anything. So you talk about the blood pressure, how the rate of your breathing should be, and so on. If you are doing exercise, all how it should function and so on, that gets determined by this particular system, which is an involuntary part. Now within this, there are two parts. The first one is really a focus around the kind of looking at or addressing situation which are dangerous, stressful, and so on. That's pretty much like a sympathetic, which is also called fight or flight. Just to keep it simple, there is a fire, you are in the room, suddenly the fire starts. Your brain, your nervous system immediately gives an action whether I work towards the fighting it or whether I run away from this. Or I'm walking on the road, suddenly the car is coming. What do I do with that? Immediately taking the actions, what actions to be taken, that signal, I'm getting it from my brain, and that nervous system gets activated and I act accordingly. What happened during this dangerous situation? My blood pressure goes up immediately. Imagine the immediate situation that happens. You are going to the forest or you walking, suddenly snake comes in. Suddenly the blood pressure rises. The blood flow increases, right? So my body temperature again rises there. We have another part of the system which helps in again cooling it down, that's the reason it's also called as rest and digest. So the one part acts to the situation, those dangerous situation, and there is a second part which is a parasympathetic nervous system, we call it as, that again cools it down, takes the body to the normal position. What it means, the more I am into the parasympathetic, my mind is more calm, I'm more relaxed, my body is cool. And ultimately, keeping this particular parasympathetic nervous systems, we'll talk in immunity as well, but this plays a very good important role, because the moment my nervous system, which is parasympathetic, rest and digest is good, ultimately I'm taking care of immunity system, my body and my mind, everything becomes very, very calm. If you look at the brain, there are two parts, the right part and the left part. And usually we keep on saying that there are two different right brain, left brain, and so on. So usually controlling, addressing such kind of scenarios which are fighting or addressing the dangerous situations are being taken care by right part of our brain. The left part, it controls the parasympathetic. It controls to cool down my particular body. That's how it is structured. Just if you try to understand how the brain is there, this is just a skull. Underneath skull, I have a brain. If you look at this brain, again, two hemisphere, I spoke about the right part and the left part. This is what, if you just intersection, this is how you look like. The first part is more, it's called cerebrum, which again is divided into 4 different parts. I mean, if you look at how the brain is structured, within this half part, again, there are 4 different parts. One really helps in just focusing on reasoning and the thought process. Other one is just focusing on the sensory information. There is one focusing on auditory information. The one acts based on what I see, a visual one. Then I have this particular part, which really takes care of whatever I sense, just keeps on passing that particular information for processing by the cerebrum, by this outer part. Then I have this particular part, which really takes care of the entire other aspects, which is about regulating the temperature in the body, my balance in terms of the sleep, appetite, and so on. It's also plays a very important role in controlling my anger, my fear, my emotions, and so on. This is particular part of my brain system, which really focus on muscle coordinations. What do I do? In terms of earlier, we spoke about in a the muscular part, whether I go with slow twitch for marathon or whether I go for fast for the sprint, everything is being controlled by this particular part based on what I really need to achieve. Anything related to the eyes, whatever I hear and so on, that gets processed by this particular part. And this particular part takes care of the entire function. This is a gateway because this is what is connecting me to the spinal cord. So at a high level, this is how our brain is there. We spoke about this particular part, which is functioning, processing this information. It goes on to the spinal cord. Spinal cord is connecting to my all other nervous systems. And this is how the entire spinal cord is, which really is divided, one focusing on neck, the one which is the central part, this is the lumbar region, and the one towards the end of this particular spine. As I said, the first part is more focusing around getting all sensory information from peripheral systems to the brain. And then there are neurons, which goes from brain to the other parts. Now, just last slide probably for today is what all things does help from a nervous system point of view. And again, as I said, this is extremely important, nervous system, in terms of giving all particular instructions to the body, keeping your body calm, relaxed, helping your immunity system indirectly, and so on. So walking on the barefoot, there are nerves, as I said, towards the feet. There are on the hands as well. So this is really, really a good thing, wherein directly your all nervous system gets activated. There are asanas like Shashankasana, Yoga Mudra. If you do, a lot of blood goes towards the brain. It completely cools down. Parasympathetic nervous system is getting activated here. Similarly, if you do Shirshasana or Sarvangasana or Viparit Karniyasana, these are also pretty good asana to help my blood circulation, my nervous system, through this nervous system going towards the brain. There are a lot of pranayams also which can be pretty helpful in activating the entire nervous system. There would be a special class we would organize at some point of time, especially around how my hands, they are controlling the entire body, because my body is made of 5 different elements, and how the sensory, the nerves on each of these particular fingers are activating that particular part. So ultimately that activation is happening through those sensory organs, right? The nerves. Yeah, I think that's pretty much, we'll keep it for today. Sudhirji, just I'm conscious of the time, but just thought of giving the whole idea today. I think most of it, I wanted to set the tone in terms of the importance of understanding the system itself, because if you are not convinced, understanding the subsequent parts to a certain level becomes difficult, right? And we spoke about these 5 systems: skin, skeletal, muscular, and nervous. We'll cover a few of the important systems, and these are the important one in a subsequent some sessions that we would organize.
Thank you, Sushil. So if anybody has any clarifications, anything, can ask Sushil, please.
or if somebody wants to add on to in any
Yeah,
of these
if you have
particular
something to add on also,
systems as well, please feel free to do so. I will be very glad to enrich my knowledge.
I would like to thank Sushil ji for introducing us to one of the most complicated and sophisticated machinery in the world, which we all have been using, but without reading the user manual. So very simple way to introduce us to all these basic systems and how can we keep these healthy. And the analogy with the car functioning, the way we do take care of the car, this is the body, this is our body, and relating each and every part to the respective yogic kriya and asanas and pranayam, that is very much helpful. Looking forward for the next session for the balance systems. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vaibhav. Thanks for attending.
Thank you, Vaibhav. So Vaibhav clearly said it was, first of all, it was a well presented, so much of effort has gone into it. So for that, we need to thank Sushil. So much of effort has gone into it, preparing these slides, and also well explained, starting from the vehicle and how the whole thing is connected. It's well done. And today we got introduced to the four players of our team. So all the four players have been introduced. Now our remaining for 7 players, right? 7 players are pending. So more important players are yet to come in. So I think it will be more interesting sessions as we go in for the later. But it was well done. Anybody else has got some many clarifications, please? Any comments?
Great.
Good.
Either what I explained probably is not understood, not articulated, or it is too much information, or it's understood. So I take it.
No,
but I think the important thing is, sorry,
people have to digest such topic, so that's why the question doesn't come. Last time as well, Vijay had about chakras and I said, once they study on that, then only they will have questions coming out. If like same way, once they read your presentation and go on each and every point, why this is happening, why that is happening, when they try to understand, then only they can come up with some questions.
Absolutely.
Like in your nervous system, you said, like, when the snake comes in front of you, like immediately your body temperature, the heartbeats goes fast. The reason I'll just add something, that the reason behind this is when such things come, you have to act like something fast or something energetic. So for that the reason the heartbeat goes fast, so that you get more energy to perform on that. And the opposite of that is something goes cold, so your heartbeat goes soft to perform some soft related items. So this all small things which the teachers probably do teaching and keep on talking in the class, they can relate more. But for those who is new, first they have to go through your presentation and then probably they will come with some questions.
Right. No, absolutely. I completely agree with you. I think it is more about digesting the information, correlating it up. I know it's too much information. In a way, it is good that we covered only 4 of them, because next, again, there is too much of information to understand, right? So, anyways, I will be sharing this presentation at some point of time once we cover. But if somebody wants to have a quick, whatever we presented today, I can share that. Just you can ping me or anybody, and I will just share it across.
So
if Sushil can till now whatever topic we have covered, can you give in like 2-3 words, like what we discussed in a short summary? You are asking me, or you are asking somebody? Yeah, I'm telling you, like whatever topics we have covered so far.
Okay.
Just give a summary that this what we in one small short line only, not
absolutely.
like
absolutely right. So I think in terms of what we covered today, right, is first of all, if
with the slide, Sushil, with the slide, fast slide, please.
Okay, not a problem. So the first one is in terms of we spoke about the importance of understanding this. If I look at the skin, understanding is there are three parts: a specific objective, I would say, for the fighting the infection and acting as a protection to my internal organs. That's pretty much high level takeaway for this, right?
Great.
If I look at the skeletal systems, the important thing is in terms of my bones, how the different parts, how the ligaments, tendons, etc. takes care. And this acting, the skeletal system acting as a backbone for me from the posture point of view, and also any impact that I might have, right, due to accident or any kind of damn thing, jump and so on. So why it is critical and why I need to take care of it, right? Don't worry on this axial and append this particular stuff, but I think that's a key takeaway to maintain this particular, eat a lot of vegetables and so on. If you look at the muscular system, I think the important thing is all about how my muscles play a very important role for the functioning of the organs also. So it's not about only the body part in terms of moving, lifting and so on, but how it is going to play a very key role from stomach, intestine, and most importantly, heart. So doing those exercises which are improving my muscles, very, very critical. I think that's what I would say, what I need to take away from that. And if you look at the nervous system, here from nervous system point of view, it is more very, very critical part from the entire functioning, because this is the one which is connected to my brain. The important takeaway here is the way the brain, my heart, and the entire central part, that plays a critical role. And then I have a surrounding different wiring within my entire body, right? Now, this particular nervous systems, another thing is the entire whatever happens within, if I talk about the actions, what I do, everything gets passed on to the brain. Again, it's going back to this particular to take that actions. If I look at the internal, which I don't control myself, those particular parts are helping me in terms of two ways. I have two types of system. One, focusing on acting, what actions I should take, getting that signals from brain, acting on it. Again, I have another system which is controlled by left brain to cool down, again, take my body back to the balance. Otherwise, if I become angry, I would remain angry otherwise. Again, there is a phase, parasympathetic nerves gets activated, I calm down, right? So I think two brains, right side, left side, how it controls, and the central part, right? I think that's pretty much in terms of high level, what the system works. And more importantly, understanding that nervous system is an important, I think that's the most important takeaway I would say in each of these areas, understanding and then really focusing on, specific asanas. I mean, moment teacher says many times, do Sarvangasana, it is good for brain, good for nervous systems. But how it is good is really what I want all attendees, audience of today to correlate, and how it is really, really helpful so that we are able to enjoy that particular stretch, not just taking the instructions, but really understand. And once we understand the importance, we would definitely enjoy it. So that's pretty much it. But Rajiv, I have to
Thank you.
summarize.
Yeah, that's. I think this will have been more understanding for many of them.
Yeah,
Okay.
cool.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah,
Sushil.
thank you.
So yeah,
Anybody else? Anybody else got anything? So if not,
No,
then we
thank you.
can.
Thank you, Sushil.
Okay.
welcome.
That then we can start winding up the session for that. So thank you very much, Sushil. So we will look forward for the more sessions for the other, to getting introduced to the other players.
Sure.
So we will go into the next sessions. So let's all sit in a comfortable pose. Gently close your eyes. Take a deep breath in, and while breathing out, let's chant Om. Thank you very much for all
Thank you so
for
much.
joining.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you,
Thanks for
everyone.
joining.
Thank you.
See you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sushil.
Thank you.
everyone.
When will we have the next session, Sushil?
Next session will be after 2 weeks now.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sushil.
Can we plan it till next week?
Thank you, Sushil.
Thank you.